Henry's Forest Fright. A carnival had come to town, and it was time for them to go home. The fat controller had asked Henry to take the train back to the docks. On his way, he stopped at the junction where he met Percy. "Hello, Henry. I see you have the Chinese dragon. I got stuck on a siding once, and Thomas scared me with it," he said. "Pah! It's only paper, Percy. Nothing to be frightened of," guffawed Henry. This made Percy cross. "Well, I couldn't see that. It was too dark. I'm sure you'd be frightened if it were you." Henry laughed. "You're just a silly engine, Percy. Now I must go," and he puffed away. When he arrived at the docks, it was very busy. He dropped off his trucks and went to refill his tender. As he did, he could overhear Doc talking to Edward. "Driver was watching a film last night. He said it was about a man turning into a big wolf. It does sound scary." "Indeed," chuckled Edward. "How silly! A wolf is a type of dog, not a man," Henry snorted. Doc and Edward took no notice. Later on, Henry was making his way home. "Driver," he said, "may we stop for a bit?" "I don't see why not, but we can't stay long," said his driver. He knew that Henry enjoyed the forest. Henry settled down on a siding, but when it was time to leave, there was trouble. The signalman walked up and spoke to the driver, who then turned to Henry, looking very concerned. "Bad news, old fellow. The signalman says the points are jammed," said the driver. "Oh, but what of me?" pondered Henry. "Well, we'll have to leave you here," replied his driver. "At least it's nice," sighed Henry. But it didn't stay like that for long. After his crew left, it became dark. Henry had never been in the forest at night before. The trees became tall, dark shadows, and the wind howled. When suddenly, he heard the sound of leaves crunching before a bush began to rustle. This frightened Henry, and thoughts of Duck's story flew into his funnel. He shut his eyes tight and didn't open them until Donald arrived with the workman. "Is it gone?" Henry whimpered. "Is what gone?" asked the foreman. As Henry was about to speak, something jumped out of the bush. "It's the wolf!" The workman laughed. "It's only a fox." Henry felt very embarrassed. The workmen soon started. They found the fox was tame, and they fed it some of their sandwiches before it scampered off back into the trees. Henry had hoped no one would hear about his fright, but unfortunately the story reached the shed before he did. "You know, Percy," said Thomas, "I heard our Henry was scared by a little fox last night." "That can't be. A big engine like Henry would never be so silly." Henry decided it best to say nothing at all.